1340 KVGC, everything old is new again, Saturday and Sunday evenings at 6 o'clock. Douglas Viviani is our guest today. He's part of the dynamic duo of hosts. He, along with David Cohen, bring us Everything Old is New Again, which examines our pop culture. And how do you say it, where it came from and where it's going, or something like that? Or
right. Each week we examine pop culture, where it came from and why it's still popular. And, we try to make radio fun again. I guess we could say that, too.
You know, think about it, Douglas. I mean, Everything Old is New Again. Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars came out. I was probably a sophomore in college. I guess I was. I can remember lining up to see it at the Century Theaters in Sacramento. And here it is. Your kids, okay? Your children are being introduced to a whole new, which I think is going to be another kind of trilogy and quadruple G and the whole thing again. You know what I mean? We're going to see and here, Everything Old is New Again. There we go.
That's what it's all about. Certainly there's new forms of entertainment, but if you think about it, Star Wars and the creators of Star Wars, George Lucas, will tell you that he first got the idea for Star Wars, some of that, from the old World War II movies, where the fighter pilots, the airplanes, shooting down other airplanes and things like that, and the old serials that the scroll of the the beginning of the movie telling you what's happening came from the old Flash Gordon back in the 30s, if you recall.
Sure.
Sure, we don't recall that, but there was a serial. They would call it. You go to the movies every week, and there'd be a different episode, and that's where it all came from. So that even was something that was built on the shoulders of something prior. So Everything Old is new again. We always add new twists to it, and Star Wars did it beautifully. But that's what the show's about.
Yeah.
Looking at pop culture and seeing where it came from. This is going to be great. I think it's definitely going to be a trilogy. And then on top of that, they're doing a Han Solo spinoff where he came from a prequel. I know they're doing that. So they've got at least 4 movies total penned, and probably more than that. So it's alive and well, and here we go. We're off to the races.
And you know what they say? Everything old is new again.
Who came up with that idea? Who came up with that? What's going on here? It must have been a genius who thought of that,
Hey, Christmas. So just update us on how's the elf on the shelf been at the house?
The elf on the shelf has found a lot of creative ways. Yesterday morning, the elf was found in the cupboard digging into some old, believe it or not, we still have some old candy corn from Halloween. So the elf was getting a little mischievous. From what we understand, as time goes by, the elf gets a little more comfortable with the family and starts to take some liberties. I'm down in my office, believe it or not, today, and my little girl, Angelica, I've told them to try to keep her upstairs, but they can't wait. They wake up and they want to find where this elf is, so we may hear a skreak of excitement in the background. If you do, that's her. The elf is in the laundry room today and is hanging from the rafters there and holding on to some raisins that she's digging into. So she's getting a little mischievous.
Are the kids out of school yet, or is today the last day?
No, actually, there's a couple of days next week as well.
Oh, really?
So it's going on and on. But the elf is nice because it gets them up in the morning quickly, and the elf is watching what they do. So when I say, put your shirt on or whatever, brush your teeth, what have you, they actually do it. I mean, I wish you could have it year round.
Hey, speaking of watching, any favorite movies, holiday movies this time of year, Christmas movies?
Well, I mean, the one that I have always been drawn to is A Christmas Story with Gene Shepard as a sort of a personal hero of mine. I listened to him on the radio in the 70s in New York. I don't know if he branched out back in the day in the 70s and 60s, if he was national or not, but he's the narrator and the creator, the writer of Christmas Story, and with the little kid with the BB gun and all of that. Yeah. So that's one of my favorites. How about you?
I would have to say, old school, probably White Christmas. I like the whole. In fact, I watched it the other night. We have it on DVD, and I think we even watched it on Hulu. That's That's how much I like the whole story, the whole buddy story, from the start, and then helping the general out, and the whole. And you know what? I just dig the whole. One of the things I liked about the Godfather movie is that it was so real. I like the old time look of the 40s and the 50s. I really like that era. And,
I love when they got dialed up to go, I don't know, to go to bed even. I mean, they had such a wardrobe and such a way of presenting themselves, and it was legit when you see in the movies. People would, in real life, would go to look at the old newsreels of like ball games, and people would wear those, the fedoras and suit and tie or a sports coat. They had a great ambiance about them, and I like that story. That's Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, of course.
Right.
And that's a kick. That one is singing and dancing, an old school, and a good old school charm to it. Of course, Wonderful Life. We can't forget that.
Right.
But beyond that, there are some sleepers that I kind of think that I've found over the last few years that may come around. It sounds odd. Elf, which is now a Broadway show, also was an animated. I think it's on Wednesday night, actually, coming up. An animated kind of cartoon, I'm going to say, but it's more like Rudolph was, that kind of animation. Yeah. And that's with Will Ferrell. And the Polar Express 3D train ride is amazing. And, of course, there's also Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
I actually, Douglas, have a copy on DVD of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I mean, not on DVD, on VHS. I bought it in one of those bins, for like $5 one time. It must be, I don't even know if it would play anymore. It's probably got to be 25. Probably bought it in the late 80s. It had Pia Zadora in it. Remember her? She's in it as a little girl. It's a horrible movie. It's campy. It's funny to watch. I don't even know if I ever got a VHS that works anymore. But, hey, if anybody wants it listening throughout the United States, email me. Send me, and I'll send it to you.
I wonder if you throw it on eBay if you get money for it, or you have to pay somebody else to get it off your hands.
Yeah, I want to pay. Yeah, that's what it'll be. I have to pay somebody, but I actually have a copy of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Well, that means you must have in some way seen it, of course, as what you just said, and enjoyed it in some odd way. It's sort of like I don't know, going past an awkward scene on a mom yelling at a child in the mall waiting to get to see Santa or something. You kind of pause and you want to see what's going on over there. You kind of. Kind of awkward, but you want to see, you want to take a look,
What it reminded me of is, do you remember that movie? It was Hans Conried was in it. I think it was called like the 10,000 Fingers of Dr. Terwilliger. Do you remember that, where the boy had to sit and play the piano? And have you ever seen that movie?
I've not seen that one.
Oh, yeah. That's a kind of a cult classic too. But anyway,
one other one I was going to say is, and all joking aside, Fred Claus with Vince Vaughn, believe it or not, to me captures a pretty good sense of a modern Christmas, and that's Vince Vaughn is Santa Claus's brother,
right?
And he's a little bit of a misfit, and he causes problems in the North Pole when he gets invited up there, and. I don't know. I got a kick out of that one. So there's a couple for you.
So you would put Elf still down in the. You wouldn't elevate that up to the Christmas classic level. It's still on the B side. It's still down, because I think I don't know why. I'm starting to like that movie more and more and more and more. I can watch it when it's not even Christmas time. I like the story of it too. I think it ends.
I think it's getting there. It's sort of like American. I mean, what is it called? Christmas Vacation. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. So it took a few years for that to gain some speed, and I think Elf is right there. I think you're right. I think people are going to start to recognize that, if not already recognize that. And if you haven't given it a chance, to take a look at the one that's on Wednesday night with the fellow from Big Bang Theory voices the Elf. And Sheldon, I forget the actor's name. It's actually a nice takeover for that. So now that I think about it, it's a Broadway show. They're going to show it all the time, of course. You've got this animation going on of the same story. So I think obviously you're right. It has caught on for sure. Maybe we should get it into the next level and see what.
Now I don't want to get political, because we don't get political with this show. But I was listening to Tom Sullivan yesterday. I was driving, had to run into Sacramento, and so I like to listen to him. He's actually from Sacramento. He started here in Sacramento. Now he's on Fox Radio. But anyway, long story short, apparently there's some protest to the Charlie Brown Christmas where Linus reads the verse from the Bible.
Yeah, I think what it was is I think there's is it California? I think it might be a California school that is going to.
Don't lay that on us. I think it's someone from the east. I think it's somebody back in Northport or somebody
to generate themselves from the confines of California. We could say. I guess we could say about New York too. But apparently, the play is being censored. They're going to do the play of the
Charlie Brown
Peanuts.
Christmas. Yeah,
and that, unfortunately, the scene has been cut out. Now, talk about, political correctness going too far. The whole point of Christmas, of course, is the birth of Christ. We can enjoy Santa and Elf on the Shelf and Christmas trees and all of that. But, there is a meaning to it, and to lose that, to me, is just wrong.
Right.
If you don't want to celebrate, any holidays in the school whatsoever, then you got to pull all the holidays out. And then guess what? You're not getting off for Christmas. You're going to school for Easter and for Passover and so forth. There's a consequence to that. And on the other side of the fence, I think let's face it, with pop culture, it reflects and entertainment reflects our culture, and all of that is a reflection on the creation of our civilization, and really from our morality comes from a lot of this.
Yeah.
So if we're taking all of these every religion, we're taking all of this out of our schools so much that we can't even say Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or whatever it might be. Holy smokes, we're just we're getting down a road of who is the story and who is the source of our morality. Where does it come from?
Look at it, Douglas. I was raised, and in the Catholic Church, okay? Still attend Mass, okay? It does not offend me. In fact, it interests me. Hanukkah,
Right.
different religions. It does. It interests me. And you're just playing into, again, not to get political, but you're just playing into people's hands when you just put the blinders on and you don't let children or people experience other cultures.
Absolutely.
That's what America's all
diversity,
about.
infinite combinations, right?
Yeah.
That's what Star Trek is about.
Yeah, there you go. See, everything old is new again. Okay?
But also, besides that, I mean, it's culturally odd to do that, because the first thing that we would, unfortunately, the difficulties we've had with last umpteen years now with what's going on overseas and how it's coming over here, in some way, our religion and our faith helps us get through these difficult times when someone passes away and other difficulties, and it gives us strength. So it would, I think, pull the rug out from the internal fiber, no matter what religion it is. And certainly, I mean, we talked about the Goldbergs last week and how they had a show on Hanukkah and how fun it was. So I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with all the different combinations. We can learn from each other. Let's not ignore this very important aspect of human culture.
No. Hey, we had our Christmas delights here on Main Street in Jackson, a big open house for 2 days. Santa came and lit the tree both days and so forth. You have anything going on in your neck of the woods, in your
Did you have
hometown?
like a real big tree like the Rockefeller Center or like that kind of a thing?
Well, more like in front of the Jackson Fire Station. It was, 20 foot
And
tall.
it was a nice tree, or was it like the Peanuts tree?
No. Very nice tree. Very nice
Well,
tree.
see, I was going to say that we talked about in the past the different combination of cultures of East Northport, let's say, where I'm from, versus Jackson, and how terrific you guys do the local fairs, and ours are a little bit stunted, if you will. You could go back and listen to those, but the Christmas theme, you have this nice tree and the Santa, and you probably had a nice little presentation and music and all of that. I bet you probably had some eggnog flowing and all. We have a hardware store on Main Street, Northport, that is owned by the mayor, and a couple hundred people gather around the window the day after Thanksgiving and watch the Christmas story lamp being lit in the window, and then we skulk away on our
No,
on
that's
our
not
daily
bad.
rounds.
That's not bad. Just don't put your tongue on a pole, okay?
There you go.
Just don't put
But
your
it's
tongue
nothing
on
as
the pole.
extravagant as I think we all in New York here kind of secede to New York City and their Rockefeller Center and the Radio City Music Hall with the Rockettes and all of that. So we try to do something different.
Hey, we're running a little long today. What's this week's show about, and what do we have coming up?
We have the Everything is Old is New Again primetime players performing a radio play, believe it or not. We're going to try to see, does it work any longer? Is there something about this that is fun? Talking about Wonderful Life, the movie. There's a radio play that they actually do on stage all over America now. So I don't know if that's coming back or not, but we've created our own, radio play, and we're going to try to perform it and have some fun with that.
All right, and what about coming up in the coming weeks? What do we have?
Then I warn you, the next 3 weeks we're going to do a best of shows, but it's not typical best of. It's one of them's going to be where we've got our late night talk show. If you've listened and heard that, Never Too Late, we're going to have that, and the host of that, which is myself, will present some clips. But I think Dave is going to come along. He's already said he's going to try to convince me to have him be his sidekick on that show. As you know, he's not the sidekick on that one. We do some clips there, and then we have another one. We've got Barbecue Guy is hosting. I'm going to be away. Dave is away. It's Barbecue Guy is hosting the best of, and he's going to go into it with a in-studio guest called Fondue Guy, and I think it looks like we set this up. We thought they would get along. It sounded like a great idea, but I don't think they get along all that well. Barbecue Guy's a rough and ready guy, and Fondue Guy's more genteel. So we'll see how that works. And we've also got best of these interviews. I threw in there some clips of these interviews, so you can hear us go through that on I think the third week of our best ofs.
Great. Douglas, we're going to take next Friday off, of course, because it's Christmas, and the following week, which is New Year's Day. But you tell Leo and Angelica, I hope they get everything they wish for Christmas, and you and your wife have a Merry Christmas, and pass it along to David and his family, too, if you will.
I sure will. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and they'll get what they deserve. Let's put it that way.